Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. And today let's take a closer look at this Klarus flashlight. This particular one is the XT11 GT Pro version 2. This is the second iteration of this light. This guy here has 3,300 lumens on its turbo mode. That's over a quarter-mile throw, which is pretty amazing. It's waterproof to 2 meters, drop tested, and Usbc charging, so you can always leave home with a full battery. That is, to me, is essential these days. This guy is going to take the place, in primary, it's going to take the place of this guy. This is my Surefire P3x Fury Tactical. This takes 3 of these CR123 batteries. It takes 3 of these guys, and it has a 1000 lumen output, and it's all or nothing. You basically hit it, it's on or off, on or off. Those are my only 2 choices. This is a tactical light. This is its brother, or twin, almost identical. This is the Surefire P3x Fury, so you can see there, in case you missed that. One's tactical, one's not. The tactical's full on and has a twist tail cap to turn it on, because this is just momentary. This one I use more for the outdoors. It's got the standard click tail cap. Let me put the Klarus down. Click tail cap. But it has 2 settings. The first is 20 lumens, and then the next is its full 1000, same as this guy. Now, it also takes 3 of these batteries, so I like to use these batteries up before I toss them. And that doesn't happen very often. You know, I'm not running them usually that long, so it's over several trips, several uses before these finally wear out, which means I end up carrying around a flashlight with partially dead batteries in it. That's why I'm transitioning everything now to, in particular, my favorites for something like this are 18650s, and this one uses the Klarus battery. It's 3100 milliamps. In the 18650, and in this particular light it doubles as both an outdoor light or a tactical light, so it crosses the bounds between these two. So move that out of the way, it's a little bright. So what happens? First of all, the battery is seated in here between 2 springs, so you can tell by just pushing down and it bounces back up. Other lights, they don't use a spring usually in the front end, which means under a violent jerk back and forth, basically the battery can lose contact. It can compress the rear spring, and when that happens, the light might go out. Or change settings, depends on how the circuitry works. But anyway, what Klarus has done here with this 3,300 lumen light is they have 2 different types of settings, and so they've got one setting that goes for tactical and one setting that goes towards outdoor use, and I've got this one set up in the outdoor use mode at this moment. So what happens? Well, first of all, we have to understand there are 2 tail switches. There's the standard compression tail switch here, which both is momentary and a lock-on. And then it also has this tail switch. So if you look really close, you can see there's a hinge right there. That's the hinge pin. And then this piece actually bends down. See if I can get that to see that little movement there. That turns it on or toggles through some settings. So I can actually use one or both of these buttons. Now, why I say it's in the outdoor setting is it is set to come on at 10 lumens. That's not a lot. That's an indoor vehicle, indoor tent, real dark setting for close work. If I want, I can start using the toggle here on the secondary switch to start going up through these crazy brightnesses. So basically I've got 10 lumens, 200 lumens, 1200 lumens, 3300 lumens, back to 10. And I can toggle the tail cap switch to put it into just on and off or momentary 10 lumen. That's why it's called the outdoor setting. The tactical setting is like the reverse. It starts with the full-on 3300 brightness. Whatever button you hit, that's what happens. The other thing is, on the outdoor setting, if I turn it on So it's on my 10 lumens. And then I hold down this setting, or this button, this secondary button here, for a few seconds. It's gone into an SOS mode. You can see that. I'm going to shut it off. And that SOS mode, if is not available in the tactical. In the tactical side, it would change to a strobe. So I can actually quickly flick on the strobe using the tail or the secondary switch. So I have full on this and blast them with the strobe on that. That's the tactical side. Now the overall size of this guy, well, first it has the classic necessary 1-inch diameter. And that's important if you want to use any kind of an attachment that kind of the standard attachment for hooking it up to things. 1 inch is what you often need. It does come with a pocket clip that just snaps on here. If you're going to put it on something, usually take that off. It has a very strong steel bezel here. A lot of other ones, they actually have the bezel as formed in the aluminum of the front end. This actually has a screw-in bezel that goes down, screws in up to the edge of the glass lens, and this is steel, so I've got a much stronger, harder material on the striking surface, so you can break glass with this thing, or inflict some owies. But basically, it's a very strong piece of material at the front end. And what I like with the scalloped end is if you turn it on, you can see it's on even when it's sitting there. Whereas other flashlights like this one, turn it on, you can't tell. See the difference? So sometimes it's easy to just, you're using the light and you set it down, and then if you forget, you might leave it on and it just burns up the battery. So I do like a little bit of a rise here. I don't see any benefit not to have some sort of a differentiated surface there. Another thing about this light is it is the second generation, the V2, the version 2. So Klarus, which is a company that's been around since 2011, they actually spend a lot of time looking at their existing designs, and rather than scrapping them and starting over like a lot of companies and producing another type of flashlight, they keep working on it and modifying it and explore new directions based on user feedback. So this one, if you compare it to the first generation of the XT11 GT Pro, you can see some substantial updates, not only the lumens, but just some of the design. But they also started out with an XT11 GT, and when they updated it, it went to the Pro. So this could be considered an even further evolution in it. Klarus has designs all kinds of unique lighting platforms. Definitely something interesting to take a look at. They're really exploring a lot of the different directions of lighting, and they're one of the companies that I follow. But anyway, that is my new kind of combination outdoor and tactical light. And so far, everything I've put it through, it's stood up and performed. It's got an obvious way to operate the thing. It's got great commands. When you're trying to do something, it just makes sense. The battery has lasted a long time. The Usbc charging, I mean, it's little details like, check this out. Look how thick that the plug is for the USB-C cover, and that's recessed in there. Some of them are just barely on the surface with this little flap of kind of rubber skin that pops out. This thing really locks in, which it has to, almost like an O-ring, it has to in order to give you that 2 meters, that's 6 feet in America, of water resistance. That's a lot. Good solid O-ring design, nice threads, and of course you can lock it out too if you want. Notice it's on. I can back off the tail cap if I want to make sure that it doesn't accidentally get left on. That's a pretty classic thing. Anyway, so I wanted to bring that to your attention. Klarus is also one of those companies. It's available online on Amazon. They make a lot of different kinds of lighting products, and they usually have some pretty good sales running. So it's a good solid light. And with that, Doc out.